Hey guys, so this is Ricardo here, who is one of the tutors for Architectural Technology and Context. This is just a quick guide here for how you can get up and going in preparing some drawings for your own home, which you will be using over the course of the semester for this unit. First things first here, we want to jump onto the Autodesk Australia website, and we want to log in. I think on the top right here there should be a sign in button. And once you're in, you want to go over to the products tab and click on download your software. Okay, that will then take you to this page here, or this tab that we see on the top. And from this menu here, we want to find Revit and then install Revit 2023. So here I have Revit, and we click on the drop down. Here we go, version 2023. You can click on View Downloads and just go ahead and click on Install Now. Okay, and that will give you the software to be able to draft your home. Revit is also a very common software that is used in the industry pretty much everywhere nowadays, and it's good to be able to have some knowledge on the software. And this can be the first time that some of you will be using it. And we're going to be covering some basics which will allow you to draw your home. Another thing that you will require is a plan measurement of your home. This is an example one here for a project that we're working on in the office right now. And I hope you don't get scared by the amount of information in here, but the main things that we need are actually the room dimensions, okay? So you can see these ones here, their overall dimensions here, 2700, 3280 over to this window, then 900, and so on and so forth. So these dimension lines indicate between which surfaces we're measuring, and then the number is obviously in millimeters, that distance, okay? So you will be able to do that in your own homes using a laser measurer, okay, or a tape measure. And so just go through your own houses and take these measurements so that you will be able to recreate this plan in Revit afterwards. Cool. Now, you don't need to take note of absolutely everything. Here, there's quite a bit of information. But some things that you do want to take notice of beyond taking these internal measurements of your rooms is actually the wall thicknesses of your home, okay? Not only do we want to take notice of the wall thicknesses, but we also want to try and understand what your walls are made of. A very common type of construction in Perth is double brick walls for external walls and single brick internal walls. Now, your houses might differ in terms of the materiality, but this is the one for this particular home here. So the external wall thickness I have labeled here to be 290, and the internal wall thickness is 150. And one last thing before we go into Revit is that in case you don't have this sort of JPEG drawing like I do here of the existing home floor plan, you can either draw it as you measure the house, okay? Or potentially your local council or government authority might have the plans for your house stored in their archive, and you might be able to get the plans from there. Cool? Cool. Okay, fantastic. Now we are on Revit 2023. So I just double clicked on the icon that shows on my desktop after installing it. Okay. And then we will click on New, and we will choose the architectural template. Okay. And then we'll hit OK. And now we are in our Revit modeling environment here. One of the things that you'll find when you open this up is that your user interface will likely have your project browser here under your properties. I recommend that you bring your project browser over to the opposite side, and that gives you a little bit more room to see all of your properties on one side and all of your views and sheets on the other. Cool. In the middle space here, we open onto level 0. which is a plan view. Okay. Now, depending, some Revit versions, it might actually come in as level 1 from memory, but don't worry, it'll typically be a plan view like so. By pressing the middle mouse button, I can pan around my view like that, and by scrolling up or down, I can zoom in or out. Another very useful shortcut here is to press the letters Z, E to zoom to the extent of my view. Great. Now, for this course, because we're focusing on just the essentials to do the exercises, we won't be going through all the things you can do in Revit, as there are too many things that can be done. And we are just going to focus on a couple of tools that we see here on top on the architecture tab. Okay. We have our modify. By default, it's the mouse cursor here. And then we have wall, door, window, component, and so on and so forth. Some of these tools, they are pretty self-explanatory in that they have the name of the tool is what the tool does. So the window tool puts windows in your project, which is very convenient, right? Cool. We'll start off here on our plan view by clicking on wall. Click on wall. If you'd like, by the way, and here we have now selected the wall, right? If you press escape, it takes you back to the modify cursor, and you go back to the original ribbon here, okay? So anytime you have a tool selected and you want to go back, just press escape, and bam, you're back here. Cool. If you hover the mouse, I'll just quickly show you this before jumping into a tool, is that if you just hover over the tools, it'll give you a little shortcut for how you can use them. I use these very often when working in order to be able to use these tools faster. They're just shortcuts. So for wall, WA is like clicking the wall tool. There we go. So WA brings us here. On the top left here, there will be a series of different walls that you can pick from. Just for the time being, I'll just use what's being selected here just to draw on my drawing space. The library that shows for you guys in terms of the walls that are built in or integrated with Revit may differ as well, depending on the version that you install. But that's okay, because we're going to jump in and I'll show you how to make the walls that are match what is in your house. So we have the wall there. Okay, finally we'll jump into the modeling environment window here, and we can click to indicate where we're starting the wall, and then a second click will tell us how far that wall goes. So here you can see I'm just clicking around and it's chaining all of these walls together. I can come back here to the start and just click, and it'll snap that wall back to the starting point. And there we go. We form an enclosure, right? Now, if I wanted to see this in 3D, I just have to come up here to the top and click on default 3D view. When I click on that button, there we go. We get to see the walls in 3D. When I am on the 3D environment, I can hold down the Shift key and use the middle mouse button, click, to actually rotate and orbit around the model, like so. And for those of you who have used SketchUp and Rhino so far, this is actually quite different in the sense it's a BIM software, building information modeling. So anything here, I just click back on the plan on the tab, anything we draw in plan shows up in our 3D space, and it also shows up in our elevation. So if I click on elevations here on the side, I can click on there, and there we go. We have the elevation. I might want to jump in here as well and set these elevation levels here by just clicking on one of those, bringing it out to the side like so. And then I might want to change the height here to 2500 of this first level. I might want to label it ceiling level, for example, which happens in some homes. You know, this is a ceiling height there. So between 0 and 2500 that we see. And I can also select my walls that we see here by click and dragging over them like so. And then set my top constraint to the ceiling level. And suddenly, now all the walls, they measure 2500 in height because they're snapping back to the ceiling level. If I move this up or down, the walls will move with it, as you can see there. Cool. I'm just setting this dimension here back to 2500, like so. Great. Let's jump back into our level 0 view, like so. And then let's just cover the other essential tools that you will be using here. So if you go into door, we can literally pick a type of door that we want. Let's say this one here. Place the door in there. And just like that, it creates a void for the door and places the door in place. Very good. With the window, I can click on the window tool, pick the window that I'd like, and just place it in my building like so. You can see it's also cutting out the void and placing the window in for us. Good. For the floor, it works a little bit differently. So if I click on the floor tool, I now have to specify the area of this floor. And here it gives me this, these are the floors that came loaded in with my Revit. But again, we can change that quite simply. I'll be showing that to you. But for now here, we'll just draw our floor. I'm going to click on line here on top and set it to boundary line. And then just draw it in, literally, like this. I'm just snapping it to the corners there, and I'll hit OK. There we go, we got a floor. Suddenly, if I go back to the 3D view, we now have something a little bit more developed. We have the walls, we have a floor, we have windows, and a door. Next, we might want to do the roof. So if I click on the roof tool, it'll ask me which view I'd like to go into to model this roof. I'll just say level 0 for now, which will work, should work for us there. While I'm in the 3D view, I'll click on this top, highlighted top of this visibility cube that we see there. And that takes us to the top view of the 3D view, not to be confused with the roof plan. And in this case here, I want to draw my roof for the building, but I want to make sure that there's an overhang over the sides because maybe my house that I live in has an overhang as well. So if I click on pick lines, I can come here to offset and set the overhang. Let's pretend for this instance here that the offset is a 300. I set the 300, just bring the mouse back into the model space and it'll set that for you. While we're here, I can just hover over these sides and you can see how it's highlighting the area there for us to create our roof line. Cool. So there we go. Another thing you can set as well is if you select everything, you can set the slope here on the side. I'll say that this is an 18 degree slope. Hit OK. And then bam, there you go. I'm going to hold down my shift button and then middle mouse button to orbit. And I can see here that my floor, it was actually drawn on level 0. So I want to fix that, bring it up to that ceiling level. To do that, click on the roof, come over to the side here where it says base level. And I just want to set that back to the ceiling level. And there we go. Now, this roof is very chunky, as we can see. So the next thing we'll look at is how you can start to change these elements that you bring into Revit, okay? All right. I'll be jumping back into my level 0 here, which is also my ground floor plan in this case. I can even rename it if I'd prefer. So I can come here to the side, left click one more time, and I'll go, whoop, caps lock was on, ground floor plan, press enter. Would you like to rename the corresponding level and views? Yes. There we go. Cool. So let's create a little bit more internal space here so we can put in some rooms, first of all. What I might do is I'll select this wall here, and then I'll press the keys MV for move. And I will click the wall and I can move it down here. And suddenly we have a bit more area there. Now it actually deleted this other element here. So I will just bring this wall back. To do so, I'll click on an existing wall element as like this one here. I'll press the keys CS. CS is create similar, okay? I will click on there and then back there and it's back. Notice how the floor actually moved with that wall, which is really interesting. So Revit is quite smart in that it can make these guesses. Sometimes they're helpful, other times not so much. So hopefully they help us most of the time. Now, let's say I'm trying to select the floor here. I can see the line for the floor there under my door, but when I put the mouse here, I'm actually on the door, see? So to select the floor, I can actually place my mouse cursor there and I press tab. What tab does is it cycles through all elements that are on or near where my mouse cursor is located. So here, here I'm pressing and you can see I'm cycling through different things. The door comes first, I press tab once. Now it's the wall that I'm selecting. I press tab again, I'm selecting all the walls. I press tab again, and finally we have the floor. There we go. It's up there. We can also change the footprint of an existing element like this by coming up to edit boundary once we have selected it and, adding or taking away areas from our floor. And in this case here, I will just leave it as is. Great. So next thing now is I want to add some internal walls. I'll click wall. And here I might need a thinner wall now. But before I do that, let's make this wall here a double brick wall, a very common type of construction composition for external walls in Australia. To do so, I click on the wall, I click on edit type, I will click on duplicate on this new pop-up, and I'll call this one here double brick wall. Double brick wall, press OK. Now I want to edit the structure. Click on structure, and I want to enlarge this window here a little bit. And now we have our different layers here, okay? Now, the layers that make our wall for a double brick wall, we'll just use 3 layers, okay? They will be brick, then an air gap, and then brick again. So, for the exterior side, as you can read there, we're going to set this one here to be brick common and 110 mil thick. That is quite common for double brick wall construction. I will actually delete this fiberglass batt layer here. On this middle core boundary here, I'm going to change this to air. So to do that, there's actually a little pop-up that I can click on here. And once I click it, it pops up with this material browser. I'll just search for air, double click it. The thickness of the air, we'll set that to 60. Okay. And then finally, this final layer here, we are gonna pick the brick common material again. I'll search brick common. And then the thickness in this instance will be 90. Cool. And actually, sorry, the air here will set the thickness to 50, like so. So the overall thickness of my wall will be 110 plus 50 plus 90. I'll hit OK. And there we go. Width is 250. I hit OK again. And then this wall here is now a double brick wall. I can pick my other walls, holding down Control to select multiple elements. Come over to the side here, find the double brick wall that we just created and hit that one. And there we go. It's now all double brick wall. For windows and doors, you can change their properties as well by clicking on the icon, and under type here, you can duplicate it and make a new type, or you can actually edit this type itself by coming down here to the parameters and then changing height, changing width, and other elements in there. So you can make windows bigger, smaller, taller, shorter by just changing these individual parts. For the doors, the same thing, edit type, and I can change those parameters in there. Okay. Now, we're not expecting that everything you do is exactly like your home, okay? Because it can get quite complex. There may be some of your houses that have unique features or things that are more difficult or more complex to pull off inside of Revit. So, but as long as you have the basic bones of your house, that should give us enough substance to do all the exercises that you will be doing. Cool. So for loading in other types of doors and windows, in case you'd like more options for you, you can actually jump into your Insert tab and click on Load Family. And once you're in here, you can look for the folder where you have other elements available. In my case here, I actually have to do a little bit of going back and finding my Revit 2019, which I know has my families. The families are just elements, by the way. They're like groups of elements of a specific type for use inside of Revit. It's a bit complex, but hey. So when I'm here, Revit 2019, Libraries, Australia, and here, let's say, you know, I want a window, for example. And here I can have a look at the windows that are built in for me. They come with Revit itself. And you should have all of these as well. Cool. Alternatively, you can also download them online. You can just do a quick Google for the type of window you're after and then download them. Here I want this casement True LT. Double click it. I'll hit OK once more. And then if I jump back on my Architecture tab and Window, I can come in here and place my window like so. Jump back into my 3D view, and then there we have the windows. I can select them and I can change the height from the ground in here, like so. And here I can do the same thing. And of course, the size of the window itself, I can change inside of my edit type by just jumping on here and then changing these numbers. Cool. The roof footprint, we can see that it doesn't match the house anymore. So it didn't update with the movement of this wall, but that's okay. We can just jump in here. I'm actually going to edit type. I'll just delete all of the other parts here and leave just a thickness on. And I'll see if there's like a tile material. So if I look up tile, roofing tile, I'll pick this one. Hit OK, hit OK. And there we go. I can edit the footprint as well. And I can go to my top view like so. And click on this pick lines, set offset to 300. And then here, I'll just do that. And here. To help you trim things and join things up in a much quicker fashion, you can press the keys TR, which stands for trim. It actually activates this command here. I click the two lines I want to join. And then I can delete the leftover ones, and suddenly I have that footprint much quicker. And there we go. Now I can see there's something odd happening there, where this side slopes up on a steeper angle than the other side. So I'll just jump back in, and I'll just check. So the slope for this line I've selected is 18. The slope for this line is 30. So I'll just change that to 18. So it's like the rest of it. Hit OK. And there we go. Great. We have our little house coming up now. And just, you know, when we're back in the ground floor plan here, we can actually make our internal walls. Click on the wall tool, click on edit type. I will select my double brick wall, hit duplicate. I'll call this one single brick wall. Great. Jump onto structure like we've done before. I'm going to delete actually everything, but we have to keep this sort of middle layer here. I'll change this one to brick common, thickness 110 for internal walls. And now we have it there, single brick wall, and it's a thinner type of wall. And I can very quickly begin to create my rooms inside of my home now. AL is a very useful command as well, which means align. I can pick an edge to align to. I'll click on that one there. Click on the side of my wall and it'll move it. Look how good that is. Very easy to do. So yeah, now I can also place my doors internally as well. I can come in here and place my door. To flip the door, I can just click on it and use these arrows to flip it around. So hopefully you can see how you very quickly, after you've picked up on these basic principles of navigating Revit and some of these tools, that you can create floor plans, you can create 3D models and also drawings, which is fantastic. So we're still on the floor plan here, right? But after doing all of this, we can literally go into our elevations there and it generates the elevations for us automatically. I just have to clean this up a little bit here, bring this one out. And then this one here as well. This one, and then south, and so on and so forth. We have all of those views ready to go now. We have the door in there, and that will give you a very good basis to do all the calculations and analysis we'll be doing, which should be fun. The final thing here to show you is just some final tools. I can see here that once again the slope is different on this side. I might want to fix that. So jump back in there, select all the sides. I'll just set that to slope 18, hit OK, there we go. Is that we want to plot this through a PDF now so that we can share it with everybody. Okay, so under Sheets here on the project browser, I'll right click and click on New Sheet. It gives you this pop-up and I'll select the title block None and hit OK. I will then press the keys DL for detail line. Okay. Alternatively, you can come to Annotate and here's the tool Detail Line as well. And then using my thin lines, I'm going to draw here an A3 sheet. So type in 420 on the vertical and then 297 on the vertical. And then I will just finish off this rectangle like so. I can then drag my views in. Literally just click on ground floor plan and place it in my sheet like so. And there we go. We have the floor plan of our homes. I can move around these titles if I like, or shorten the length of this horizontal there. And now we can literally just print the sheet to PDF. Control P. And then in here, we have some options to go through. All we gotta do is go Selected Views and Sheets, click on Select. From this menu, we want to plot A101, it's currently unnamed, but that's the sheet that we have selected here on the side that you can see. And I'll click Select. And then here on Settings, I just wanna make sure that the size is set to A3 and the zoom is set to 100. Hit OK. And then hit OK again. You have chosen to print one view sheets as separate files. Do you wish to continue? In this instance, yes. And then when we're here now, I can literally just save my project. And now here we have a PDF of our house floor plan. Cool. I know there was quite a lot in here, guys, but hopefully these will give you all the tools you need to create your own home. And should get you up and running inside of Revit. Some final tools here just to show you before I leave Revit or this project is this here is very useful. Close inactive views. What that does is it just takes all the views of the same project and closes them for you while still keeping the one you're on still up. Okay, so it doesn't close the project, just those windows that we are not using. Another one is this one that's literally next to it here, thin lines. When you toggle that on, it gives you thin lines across your drawing. It might help you be able to see junctions a bit better, especially if they're more complex. But otherwise, you can leave them on because it shows you quite clearly here the walls that we're cutting through, which are thicker, okay? And then the windows, the window frame and the window glass pane, they're thinner. Cool. And just like that, we are done with a quick intro to Revit. Hopefully this wasn't too much. I'll just quickly go now into a project that I will be using myself over the semester to show you, well, how to conduct all the exercises using a home or a house designed in Revit. One more useful thing, there's like an infinite number of things on Revit to you know, discuss that can be useful depending on what you're doing. But jumping back here onto my level 0, I know this is a different project, but it's just to show you the tool. On this bottom ribbon here, I can actually set the scale of my drawing, okay? So here you go. You can also do a custom scale if you'd prefer, but typically these ones here are architectural scales. 1 to 100 is what we need to place this particular one on an A3. And then there's also these other tools here that indicate some other things that you can do, such as the level of detail. This one here. So the detail level is currently set to fine, which is why we can see the wall composition of our building. But if I set this one to coarse, you can see that it switches it over to a fill. Interesting, right? So just leave this one on fine because we want to see materiality and composition, because that will affect our calculations that we do, right? Here I can change to other options as well, such as visibility. So wireframe lets us see all the way through what's on the bottom of this model. If I go back on the 3D view, and this wall here is kind of standing up there, I'll just tweak this setting. 4000 should be okay. But if I change again, going to this display setting there to wireframe, this is what we get. It's like an X-ray through the building. Hidden line is what I tend to spend most of my time working on when I'm in Revit. And then there's also, you know, shaded. And there are these other ones here for a different type of shading. And realistic actually starts to render the view using one of Revit's built-in render engines. And it's taking a little bit of time there. You can see the materials look a bit more realistic. Anyway, hidden line should be good for us there. There's also other things here like sun path, shadow, the crop region of your drawings. These two here are quite important. So if I jump back to my level 0 and I toggle these on, we first toggle show crop region. So what that does is it's showing us this box. If I move those extents of the box like so, you can see that it starts to crop the drawing. So it might be that I want to bring the focus to a specific area of my plan. In this case here, we don't have to worry about that too much. We want to show everything. So we want to leave these ones as open like so. And to turn it off, we just have to come in here and click hide crop region. Great. If I do crop my drawing like this, and let's say momentarily I'd like to see what's beyond this crop region without moving the crop region itself, is I can just click on this other option next to it saying do not crop view. When I click that, it shows me what's beyond my crop region. If I toggle this one back on, then it disappears, and then I can toggle the crop view region itself off like so. So I'm turning it back on, and I'm just going to make sure it's very big, like so, and captures all of my building within, and then turn it off. Cool. When I am in my view placing my drawing, and here I have the default sheet selected that should come with your project, but in this instance I want A101, which is the A3 sheet. I can click on the view, and I can change the scale, and when I do that, it actually changes the scale on the view itself, as you can see. I'm going to leave this as 1 to 100 for now, because that should give us what we need. And just make sure that the drawing is located within the boundaries here that we drew that represent the sheet extents, which is 420 and then 297. Okay, so just a final little showcase here of the house project I will be using in the semester to show you guys all the things that can be done and all the analysis that we'll be doing. So this home here is a project that I worked on a couple of years ago now, and this is the 3D view here that we're in, which we can click, just click on that default 3D view that takes us to this one here. I'm holding down Shift and middle mouse button lets me pan around like so. And fantastic, we have the house there. If I jump into my views here on the side, I can click on ground floor, for example. Actually, this is probably not the best example because we have a JPEG that got imported behind the project there. If I jump onto my proposed floor plan, here we go. This is much better. We can see here the entrance to the house and the various rooms: living, master bed, walk-in robe, bath, studio, bath, laundry, bedroom 3, the other bedrooms, the existing pool. And you can see how all of these things are here in the drawing. To do these annotations, in case you guys would like to do those, you just have to jump into the Annotate tab and use this aligned dimension, or DI, for the dimension. So if I come in here, I can again press my tab key to select something close to my cursor. So here I can't grab that wall straight away. I've just pressed tab one time and there we go. Come up here, press tab, and there we go. I got the dimension. I can also dimension to the window here, and then there, and then here, just like so. Hopefully that gives you an idea on how to use dimensions there. And I can also use my text. So if I click on text, I can literally type in the text, hello class. And after finishing it off, press escape. I can just click on the element, move it around, add a leader, which is this little arrow, and point to the wall. And this can say then double brick wall. And there we go. Cool. And you can see my other drawings here. I got a roof plan. I have a plan as well here that I prepared specifically for first rate. And in this plan here, I have actually set, we can see the material composition throughout my drawing in the original one. It's using fills, so the level of detail is different in this more schematic drawing compared to my first rate one, which clearly shows the wall composition here, these double brick walls and single brick walls. Cool. And we also have other drawings here that I've developed. Let me find the elevations. So here are a couple of things there, the elevation. Cool. Okay, guys. Well, I hope that gives you a brief intro to Revit and helps you get up and running. Once again, I've probably said that a couple of times now. But we'll be around class if you have any questions in regards to your particular home, any difficulties you're having with modeling your home or annotating, working with views or the 3D model itself. But yeah, hopefully this will be enjoyable for everybody. And just one more time, Revit, it's an industry standard software. It's highly likely once you get a job that understanding Revit will be important. Okay, and one very last thing here, I promise this is the last thing. I just thought I'd bring your attention to LinkedIn Learning, which is an amazing platform that all of you will have access to through your Curtin student email. So you have access to LinkedIn Learning, which is the learning side of LinkedIn. This was originally called Linda back in the day, but now it's LinkedIn Learning, and you can learn anything through here, including Revit. So some of these essential trainings some of you might be interested in, if you'd like to get ahead in your understanding of Revit as a software and how you use it in practice, and how you can make even your studios throughout uni, here's a great resource for you. Okay, now I'm seriously going. Thank you, everybody. Hope this has been good for everyone.